never disappeared, it changed uniforms. What Machiavelli described in courts and kingdoms now lives inside boardrooms, executive meetings, and quiet strategic decisions that shape careers and markets. You are not watching ambition anymore, you are watching positioning. Titles, smiles, and corporate language hide the same ancient mechanics. Control of perception, management of fear, and calculated loyalty. If you believe modern success is driven by merit alone, you are already behind. Corporate dominance is not accidental. It is engineered by those who understand how people actually behave when status, security, and survival are at stake. Here is the brutal truth most professionals never accept. The workplace is not a fair system. It is a competitive environment governed by human nature. People do not rise because they work hardest. They rise because they understand leverage. Influence moves upward quietly while responsibility moves downward loudly. Those who speak last often decide. Those who appear neutral often control direction. Those who seem harmless are usually protected by layers of unseen power. You are being evaluated constantly, not just on results, but on restraint, alignment, silence, and timing. The ones who dominate are not the most visible. They are the most strategic. Machiavelli did not disappear. He adapted to quarterly reports, performance reviews, and polite conversations. If you are still watching, you are ready to see how these patterns operate in real situations, not theory, not morality, but execution. Watch until the end to understand how corporate power is built without confrontation and how dominance hides behind professionalism. Comment, "I see the structure, so I know who understands what's really happening." Subscribe to Dark Psychology Blueprint and turn on notifications because the next breakdown exposes how modern power is exercised without ever raising a voice. Visibility is managed, not maximized. In modern corporate environments, power rarely belongs to the loudest voice or the most visible performer. Those who truly dominate understand that constant visibility attracts scrutiny, resistance, and expectation. The Machiavellian approach is restraint. You are seen enough to be relevant, but not enough to be threatened. Excess exposure invites challenge and jealousy, while controlled presence creates ambiguity. When people cannot fully assess your influence, they hesitate to confront you. Visibility becomes a tool, not a habit. You step forward only when presence strengthens position, and step back when attention would weaken leverage. High visibility creates predictable targets. The more you are seen, the easier it becomes to measure your strengths, limitations, and dependencies. Others begin to associate outcomes with your name, which makes you accountable for failures you may not control. Machiavellian thinkers avoid this trap. They let others take the spotlight while they shape decisions quietly. They allow credit to travel upward selectively and blame to disperse downward naturally. This is not humility, it is insulation. By limiting exposure, you reduce attack surfaces while maintaining influence behind the scenes. Managed visibility also controls perception. You appear cooperative rather than dominant, supportive rather than competitive. This lowers resistance from peers and superiors alike. People underestimate those who do not advertise ambition. Underestimation creates opportunity. While others compete loudly for recognition, you build alliances, control information flow, and influence direction without appearing responsible for it. When success arrives, it looks collective. When failure appears, distance already exists. This separation is intentional. Power survives longest when it is difficult to trace. The most effective corporate operators understand that being indispensable does not require being obvious. They choose moments of visibility strategically, presenting when alignment is secured, speaking when direction is already set, and appearing decisive only when outcomes are guaranteed. The rest of the time, they observe. They manage perception rather than chase recognition. In environments governed by human nature, not merit alone. Restraint outperforms display. Visibility, when controlled, becomes armor. When maximized, it becomes a liability. Credit flows upward, risk flows downward. In corporate hierarchies, reward and danger rarely move together. Those at the top design systems where success is absorbed upward, while failure is delegated downward. This is not accidental, it is structural protection. Machiavellian thinkers understand that power survives by controlling exposure. Leaders position themselves close enough to success to claim it, but far enough from execution to avoid blame. They approve direction, not details. They endorse outcomes, not methods. When results are positive, they are visionary. When results fail, the execution misalignment. Power is preserved by never being the final point of contact with risk. This dynamic depends on perception management. Risk is framed as development, opportunity, or ownership for those below. Responsibility is praised publicly, but accountability is enforced privately. Those who accept full operational burden believe they are proving competence, when in reality they are absorbing volatility. Machiavellian operators avoid being the single point of failure. They distribute tasks, fragment responsibility, and maintain plausible distance from operational fragility. They ensure decisions appear collective while outcomes remain individually assignable downward. This is not cruelty, it is survival within competitive structures. Those who do not understand this mistake visibility for power. They take initiative loudly, volunteer for high-risk projects, and attach their name to uncertain outcomes, believing recognition will follow. Sometimes it does. Often it does not. When failure occurs, the same visibility that promised reward becomes a liability. Machiavellian minds move differently. They ensure protection before contribution. They clarify ownership quietly. They document alignment. They never carry risk without leverage. They understand that power is not about doing more. It is about being exposed less. This is why credit rises and risk descends. Those who control structure control narrative. They decide who led, who supported, and who executed. Smart operators learn to push risk downward only after securing insulation above. They attach themselves to success late and detach from uncertainty early. This is not unethical, it is realistic. In environments governed by hierarchy and human nature, survival favors those who understand that recognition is optional, but insulation is essential. Silence in meetings signals authority, not ignorance. In corporate settings, those who speak first and most often are rarely the ones with the most control. They speak to be noticed, to prove relevance, or to protect themselves from being overlooked. Silence operates differently. Silence signals that you do not need immediate validation. It suggests confidence in position rather than anxiety for attention. The Machiavellian mind understands that authority is not demonstrated through volume, but through restraint. When you remain silent, you allow others to reveal their priorities, fears, and alliances. You observe the direction of the room before committing yourself to it. This is not passivity, it is positioning. Silence creates psychological weight. When everyone else is speaking, filling space with opinions, justifications, and ideas, the quiet individual becomes noticeable without effort. Others begin to wonder what you are thinking, what you know, and why you are not contributing. This uncertainty elevates your perceived status. People assume silence comes from confidence or hidden influence, especially in hierarchical environments. The Machiavellian understands that perception often matters more than truth. By withholding your voice, you force others to speculate. Speculation increases caution. Caution slows opposition. Silence becomes leverage. Those who rush to speak often commit too early. They align themselves with ideas before understanding how the group will move. When the direction shifts, they are exposed. The silent strategist waits. They let momentum form and then decide whether to attach themselves to it. Speaking late allows you to refine your contribution, align with the winning position, or redirect discussion subtly without appearing oppositional. Silence gives you flexibility. Once you speak, you are locked into a stance. Until then, you retain control over alignment. In corporate dominance, the last voice often carries the most weight. When a silent person finally speaks, the room listens. Their words are measured, relevant, and timed. They are not reacting, they are concluding. This reinforces authority without effort. Others begin to wait for your input rather than compete with it. Silence, used intentionally, changes the flow of power in the room. It signals that you are not here to perform. You are here to decide. Alliances matter more than performance. Performance is visible. Alliances are structural. In corporate environments, results may earn recognition, but relationships decide survival and advancement. The Machiavellian mind understands that no individual rises alone. Decisions are filtered through people, not spreadsheets. You can deliver flawless outcomes and still be sidelined if you lack alignment with those who influence direction. Performance proves competence. Alliances protect position. When conflict appears, competence is debated, but alliances are defended. Power is not who performs best. It is who is protected when pressure arrives. Alliances function as silent insurance. They shape narratives before facts are examined. When results succeed, allies amplify contribution. When results fail, allies contextualize, redirect blame, or soften judgment. Those without alliances face evaluation alone. Their work is isolated, dissected, and judged without defense. Machiavellian operators invest early in relationships that outlast metrics. They understand who matters, who influences whom, and where loyalty flows. They do not rely on output to speak for itself, because output has no voice without support. Performance-focused individuals often believe excellence guarantees advancement. This belief makes them predictable and vulnerable. They neglect political awareness, underestimate informal influence, and ignore relationship building as distraction. Meanwhile, alliance-focused operators move carefully. They support others publicly, avoid unnecessary competition, and align their efforts with influential figures. Their performance is sufficient, not excessive. Excess performance threatens peers and attracts scrutiny. Alliances absorb that tension. Power grows horizontally before it moves upward. This is why alliances matter more than performance in environments governed by human nature. Performance can be replaced. Relationships cannot be substituted easily. Machiavellian thinkers understand that influence is social before it is technical. They build trust selectively, maintain loyalty discreetly, and avoid isolation. When opportunities arise, they are already positioned within networks that decide outcomes. They do not ask to advance. They are pulled forward. In corporate dominance, results open doors, but alliances decide who walks through them. Information is released selectively to shape decisions. In modern corporate power, information is not shared to inform, it is shared to influence. Those who dominate understand that what people know determines what they choose. By controlling timing, scope, and context of information, you control outcomes without issuing commands. The Machiavellian mind never floods the room with facts. It releases only what moves decisions in a desired direction. Too much clarity creates debate. Too little creates confusion. Selective disclosure creates dependence. People begin relying on you as a gatekeeper of understanding, and that dependency becomes leverage. Most professionals believe transparency builds trust. In reality, uncontrolled transparency builds vulnerability. When you reveal everything at once, you remove your ability to steer interpretation. Others reframe, resist, or weaponize what you share. Machiavellian operators understand that information must be staged. First, they test reactions with partial data. Then they observe who supports, who hesitates, and who resists. Only after the environment is mapped do they release more. This pacing allows them to shape consensus quietly while maintaining deniability. Decisions appear collective, but direction was guided long before the final discussion. Selective information also creates hierarchy. Those who know more feel closer to power. Those who know less wait for instruction. By deciding who receives what and when, you establish influence without authority. People align with you, not because you demand it, but because you control access to clarity. This is why powerful figures often appear vague in public and precise in private. Vagueness protects position. Precision is granted only to those whose alignment is proven. Information becomes currency, not courtesy. This strategy weakens opposition before it forms. When information is fragmented, resistance cannot organize. Critics lack full context. Alternatives remain underdeveloped. Momentum favors the side that controls narrative flow. By the time complete information emerges, decisions feel inevitable. The Machiavellian understands that power does not require deception. It requires timing. Information released selectively shapes perception, and perception shapes choice. Those who control the flow do not argue for decisions. They make every other option feel impractical. Conflict is avoided publicly and executed privately. Public conflict weakens position because it exposes intent, emotion, and division. In corporate environments, those who dominate understand that open confrontation creates resistance, invites scrutiny, and forces others to choose sides prematurely. The Machiavellian approach is restraint in public and precision in private. Disagreements are softened, deferred, or disguised in meetings. Alignment is signaled outwardly even when opposition exists internally. This preserves optics. Power survives longest when it appears stable, rational, and unified. Visible conflict suggests instability, and instability invites challenge. Private execution is where control is exercised. Decisions are influenced through one-on-one conversations, selective information sharing, and quiet repositioning of support. Instead of arguing openly, Machiavellian operators redirect outcomes behind closed doors. They undermine ideas by questioning feasibility privately. They shift priorities subtly. They reframe narratives before they reach group discussion. By the time an issue surfaces publicly, the outcome is already shaped. Opposition appears weak, isolated, or impractical, not because it was defeated openly, but because it was quietly outmaneuvered. This method protects reputation while dismantling resistance. Public aggression creates enemies. Private maneuvering creates adjustments without hostility. Those affected often struggle to identify what happened or who initiated the change. This ambiguity prevents retaliation. Without clear confrontation, there is no clear opponent. Machiavellian thinkers value this invisibility. They do not need to win arguments. They need to win outcomes. Silence in public, paired with action in private, ensures both influence and insulation. In modern corporate dominance, the cleanest victories are the least visible. Power is maintained by avoiding spectacle and executing strategy quietly. When conflict is handled privately, authority remains intact and relationships remain usable. Those who confront publicly may feel righteous, but they become exposed. Those who execute privately remain untouchable. This is why effective power avoids noise and operates where accountability is difficult to trace. In systems governed by perception and hierarchy, the quiet resolution always outperforms the loud victory. Loyalty is tested subtly before it is rewarded. In environments where power matters, loyalty is never assumed, it is verified. Machiavellian operators understand that declared loyalty is meaningless without pressure. Anyone can agree when alignment is convenient. True loyalty only reveals itself when there is risk, ambiguity, or personal cost. This is why those who dominate do not reward commitment immediately. They observe first. They create small tests disguised as routine decisions, minor conflicts, or moments of uncertainty. How someone behaves in these moments exposes where their true interests lie. Loyalty is not proven by words. It is proven by choices made when no one is watching closely. These tests are rarely dramatic. They are subtle and deniable. A delay in support, a controversial decision floated quietly, a choice between convenience and alignment. Those being tested often do not realize it. They believe they are navigating normal workplace dynamics, unaware that every reaction is being recorded mentally. The Machiavellian mind watches who remains consistent, who wavers, who leaks information, and who prioritizes self-preservation over collective alignment. This process filters allies from opportunists without confrontation. Power prefers certainty before investment. Rewarding loyalty too early is dangerous. It creates dependency without proof and exposes position to betrayal. Machiavellian operators avoid this mistake by pacing access carefully. Trust is extended gradually. Responsibility is increased incrementally. Information is shared in layers. Each layer functions as both reward and test. If loyalty holds, access expands. If it fractures, exposure remains limited. This protects the center of power, while allowing potential allies to prove reliability over time. Those who expect immediate reward often reveal entitlement rather than loyalty. Once loyalty is confirmed, reward follows quietly but decisively. Access increases, protection appears. Influence is shared selectively. These rewards are not announced, they are felt. The loyal individual finds doors opening, resistance decreasing, and support appearing when needed. This reinforces alignment without public declaration. In corporate dominance, loyalty is currency, but it is never purchased blindly. It is earned through restraint, discretion, and consistency. Machiavellian thinkers understand that rewarding the wrong loyalty is more dangerous than having none at all. Ambition is concealed behind professionalism. Open ambition attracts resistance. The moment people sense hunger for power, they begin protecting their own position. Machiavellian thinkers understand that ambition must exist, but it must never be advertised. Professionalism is the mask that neutralizes suspicion. Calm language, measured behavior, and cooperative posture allow ambition to move undetected. You appear focused on process while quietly advancing position. This concealment prevents others from organizing against you. People resist threats they can see. They underestimate threats that look disciplined, neutral, and reasonable. In corporate environments, visible ambition is often punished before it is rewarded. It creates jealousy among peers and caution among superiors. Those who appear too eager are seen as unstable or political. Machiavellian operators avoid this exposure. They let others chase titles loudly while they build influence quietly. Their ambition is expressed through preparation, positioning, and patience, not declarations. They wait for opportunities to present themselves rather than forcing movement prematurely. Professionalism allows them to stay close to power without triggering defense mechanisms. Concealed ambition also provides flexibility. When your goals are unclear, others cannot predict your next move or block your path effectively. You can adjust direction without explanation. You can support initiatives without appearing competitive. You can step back without appearing defeated. This ambiguity protects long-term advancement. Machiavellian thinkers understand that ambition revealed too early becomes a constraint. Ambition concealed becomes optionality. You are free to advance when conditions favor you and invisible when they do not. This is how dominance survives in modern structures. The most dangerous individuals are not the ones announcing where they are going, but the ones quietly preparing to arrive. Professionalism creates trust, access, and insulation. Ambition operates beneath it, patient and controlled. By the time others realize what you wanted, you are already positioned to take it. This is not deception, it is discipline. In systems governed by perception and hierarchy, ambition that remains unseen lasts longer and travels further than ambition that demands recognition. Power does not announce itself. It operates through structure, timing, and restraint. What you have just seen is not theory. It is how dominance survives inside modern institutions. Those who understand these mechanics do not fight for control publicly. They shape outcomes quietly, while others debate intentions. Once you recognize these patterns, you stop confusing visibility with influence and start moving with discipline instead of noise. If you watched until the end, comment, "I see the structure, so I know who understands how power really works." Subscribe to Dark Psychology Blueprint, turn on notifications, and stay close. The next case study will expose another layer of modern dominance that most people never notice until it's too late.